Hey guys, let's talk about tonight's episode of The Walking Dead. And Tyrese is gone. Wow, I didn't see that coming. They went back to Noah's neighborhood to sweep it to see if there were going to be any humans left or what the situation was going to look like. And Noah returns, and it looks like the walkers have taken over his little neighborhood. And he ultimately breaks down, starts crying. He's just devastated. And when they go to check on his home, a walker bites, not just any walker, but it looks like Noah's younger brother ends up biting Tyrese. And, we see him having these hallucinations of Bob and the young girls that he was on his journey with after the prison was destroyed. And, it's sort of those moments of, is he going to give up? Is he going to let it just go? And, he sees Beth in these flashbacks. And it's pretty sad because he just doesn't want to fight anymore. And, Tyrese has been one of those characters who we've watched struggle for a while. He's not wanted to kill the walkers. He hasn't wanted to do a lot of things that you need to do in order to survive in this new world. And to see that at the end of it all, it sounds like he wanted to fight, but he just couldn't. And he dies. So, we keep seeing these moments in the episode of this home and this picture frame and this person in a car, or not person, but a walker in a car, and then this blood dripping on a picture frame. We see all that in the opening moments, but we're not quite sure what it is that we're seeing. And then as the episode is playing forward, we see that it's moments that are leading us to the death of Tyrese. And we also see them shoveling something at the very beginning, and it's to bury Tyrese. So yeah, it was a pretty sad episode to return from after a long break. And we just lost Beth after she got killed at the hospital, and now we've lost Tyrese. So this group is getting a lot smaller. We saw Michonne pretty much state her case as to why she thinks they should go to Washington, and she believes that that is at least a place where they might be able to survive instead of just living day by day and having to deal with walkers and just barely surviving. And when they get to the neighborhood, you see all these half cut bodies, and it's just the torso down, and you're like, ooh, it's really morbid. And at the end, when they're all trying to get away with Tyrese in the car after he's been bitten in the arm, and they're trying to rush him so that they could cauterize the arm after they cut it off, they bump into this van, and all of the upper half of these walkers come spilling out onto the top of the van. It was really gross, but that's nothing new. Yeah, it's pretty sad episode for Tyrese. All those people who are fans of Tyrese, it was tough to see him go. But you know what? He really hasn't contributed in terms of the group dynamic for a while now because he's just been so out of it. But it'll be interesting to see how the group moves forward. Now it sounds like they're 100 miles away from Washington, and we'll see what happens when they arrive there. Is it going to be a place where they can make it home, or is it just going to be another set of circumstances that they're going to have to deal with? Another person that we saw in those flashbacks was the governor, who was just not my favorite person ever. So it was interesting to see him trying to get into Tyrese's head, and I liked how they kept cutting out of his hallucinations, and that at one point the governor was walking towards Tyrese, but then it ended up being a walker. And then another time where the sisters were holding Tyrese's bloody arm, and then it was actually Michonne and them trying to stabilize his arm so that she could cut it off with her katana sword. So yeah, it was it was a good episode, but tough to watch for poor Tyrese. All right, guys, let me know what you thought of this week's episode, and I'll see you next week. Bye.